give our stamp of approval, but we will not do that. Secondly, prima facie, the candidate may be qualified, but there may be an allegation, a very fundamental allegation against that person. Let's allegation bordering on corruption. If prima facie the allegation is weighty, then the Senate may say that based on public policy, that if you have the right to, to put forward the name or names of candidates, as the case may be, who you want to occupy this particular position, that this particular individual whose name you have forwarded to us, that there are fundamental challenges that has bedeviled his candidacy based on so and so reports, let's say security reports, if there is a very, not just flimsy, there is a very cogent security report against the person sought to be made the chief justice.
My pleasure to welcome His Excellency Abdullah M. Abu Shawish, who is the ambassador of the State of Palestine in Nigeria. Your Excellency, you're welcome to our show.
Thank you so much.
Let me start by asking you, how does the Palestinian Authority see what is happening between Israel and Hamas?
Thank you so much for your very short question. Here we are tackling two issues. I'm going to start by the second part of your question, which is what is happening between Israel and Hamas. I should correct, this is my responsibility, political responsibility here, to correct this narrative. This is not between Israel and Hamas. This is between Israel and the Palestinian people, the entire Palestinian people all over the world. This is something not erupted just 6 days ago. This is issue that is running and occurring since 1948, when the Israeli military gangs succeeded to uproot the Palestinian people from their historical land and ethnically cleanse us as a Palestinian, the majority of us at that time, and converted us to become a refugee. This is the essence of the issue. This is the source of the issue. We cannot, as a rational people, go on or put ourselves to serve the Israeli narrative. This is issue between Israel and Hamas, just to cornering one part of the Palestinian people. No, if it is between Israel and Hamas, anyone remember what happened just last Friday? Israeli occupation army in West Bank slammed 7 Palestinians. Since the beginning, just since the beginning of this year, Israel killed and assassinated 250, since the beginning till the last Friday, 252 Palestinians was slain and killed. One of them, called Muhammad Tamimi, 2.5-year-old. He snapped. Could you imagine? If this mean anything, this mean only one thing. This is an open war from Israel against the whole entire Palestinian people all over the world. It's not here. But this is part of the propaganda and the strategy of the Israeli occupation is to corner just one faction, one political faction, one political part of the Palestinian people. 2 months ago, they was fighting against, also attacking Gaza again and attacking al-Jihad al-Islami. They mentioned that this is between Israel and al-Jihad al-Islami, which is not true. By the end of the day, who's dying right now, these days, is the Palestinian people. Could you imagine that the rockets or the bombing that they are firing the people in Gaza will differentiate between that? Oh, this is Hamas and this is other one. This is innocent and this is not innocent. This is very important to correct this narrative. Back to the Palestinian Authority. The Palestinian Authority is politically responsible for all entire Palestinian West Bank and Gaza. Of course, we have the godfather of the Palestinian Authority, which is the Palestinian Liberation Organization that used to deal and responsible, which is the legitimate and the sole representative of the Palestinian people all around the world. Palestinian Liberation Organization signed the Oslo Accord. Signed the Oslo Accord with the government of Israel 30 years ago. Again, back to the Palestinian National Authority. Yes, a Palestinian National Authority is doing its ultimate best to try to, but of course, all of the tools that we have it in the Palestinian National Authority and the Palestinian government, which I'm representing them here, is to reach out to the people, to tell them about the story. President Abbas did not stop his communication with the leaders all around the world. Yesterday he was in Jordan. He met with Antony Blinken, the American Secretary of State, King Hussein, and we are doing our ultimate best as we have. How could we, according to our ability, to make sure that we can protect our Palestinian people. But unfortunately, we will not succeed in that because for a very simple reason, Israel is not accepting any mediation. Israel is running or declaring a war against the Palestinian in Gaza Strip. They announced that the minister of the Israeli minister of army or the war minister declared that they are fighting human animals. Could you imagine that? He described 2.2 million inhabitants in Gaza as a human animal, and they are fighting against them.
You say that the war is between Israel and the Palestinians.
The war, Israel has declared a war, open war against the Palestinians since 75 years ago.
That's what I'm saying.
This is what I mentioned.
Does that in any way mean that the Palestinian Authority, which is the legal authority over Palestine, sanctions, is in agreement with the attack that was carried out by Hamas against the Israelis last Saturday?
No, this is not the right question. The question is, what is the method and what is the tools that President Abbas, who's leading the Palestinian Liberation Organization and the Palestinian, or the president of the Palestinian Authority, of course, what is the method? What is the tools that he have? And he openly declared that how he gonna resist this chronicle occupation. This is the right question. Again, we in the Palestinian Liberation Organization, we in the Palestinian Authority, represented by President Abbas, loudly, widely, and declare, announced that we gonna continue resisting this occupation with a non-violence tools. But again, how did the other part treated us? It treated President Abbas himself while he's announcing day and night, this is with a very peaceful tool, we will continue to resist this occupation. They declare, and they used to portray him as a terrorist diplomat. They considering him as a terrorist diplomat. They considering him as a very dangerous. Some of them is considering President Abbas as existential threat on them. This is the point. This is our official, clear and loud position regarding how we're gonna treat it with the Israeli occupation. Also, our very official, our very open, our very loud position in this regard, we will go to we are ready to sit to the negotiation table to put an end to this tragedy, which is a tragedy that we are facing since 75 years ago. We are ready, we are able, we are capable to sit to the negotiation table according to what did the international community agreed upon, according to the two-state solution, according to the international law. This is our clear-cut position.
Mr. Ambassador, there's no doubt that most of the effort made by the Palestinian Authority and the PLO.
Important question, but you start measuring the issue on the exact part that the Israeli and the Western media whom supporting would like everyone to start measuring. Just let me give you take you back a bit in the history. Palestinian Liberation Organization already signed an agreement acknowledging and with Israel, with the Prime Minister of Israel at that time, Ishaq Rabin. Some of the Israeli refused this agreement with the Palestinian and completely stand against it. This is democracy. But again, Yigal Amir, who's one of those fanatic people, Israeli Jewish fanatic people, who stand against this, assassinated Ishaq Rabin. Would you like to consider it democracy? It's yours. Violence, it's yours. But again, part of the Israeli refused this process. Also on the Palestinian among the Palestinian people, likewise any other people, someone will align himself with this process and others will stand against it. The question is, what did the Israeli give to the Palestinian National Authority, to the Palestinian PLO, to make sure that this process, the peace process, will succeed, so that by default there is no vacuum and the others will not appear? Nothing. They're taking us many steps back. So that this is the point. Hamas was born 20 years after the Israeli occupation. Hamas born 40 years after al-Nakba, 1948. So don't trap with the Israeli propaganda. This is not a matter that when Hamas, it's not a matter with Hamas, it's a matter with the Israeli occupation, and we should all the time be rational enough, decent enough to tackle the essence of the issue, the root of the issue. Otherwise, you're gonna, all of the time, we're gonna give this patient or this problematic issue just to describe more painkiller and more painkiller. No, we should tackle the essence of the issue. All of what is happening and running these days is the symptom, is the consequence of the Israeli occupation, is a consequence of the denying of denying the right of the Palestinian people to self-determination, is a consequence for more than 75 years of inhumating the Palestinian people, is a consequence of treating Israel as a state above the international law, is a consequence of the full military and political support that Israel used to take it from the Western country. Again, you want to talk about the details, we can talk 10 days, 10 years about everyday details. Then you're going to start measuring last Saturday. I'm going to take you back Friday. Then you're going to take me back when one of the settlers was killed. I'm going to take you back another when they attack Aila Dawabshi and burning them alive. This will not stop. The issue is there is an occupation. The issue there is an international law. We should, all of us, stand firm, stand strong to uphold this international law. This is the point.
The government in Palestine, just like you are amplifying, accuse Israel of creating an environment that is giving rise to the kind of behavior we saw with Hamas. You claim that one, Israel is not adhering to the Oslo agreements. Israel continues to carry out construction in the occupied territories.
Expansion of the
settlements. You also talk about Israel not allowing people to move freely within the Palestinian enclave or authority. Israel says that, look, it is difficult to relax some of those security measures because the Palestinian Authority is not in charge. They allow Hamas to carry out terrorist activity. And I know that the Palestinian Authority keeps having issues with Hamas. So how is the Palestinian Authority able to, to play this, you want the peace process to go on, you need to control Hamas and all that. How do you intend to do it?
Two things here. What the Israeli claim, this is again, part of it is policy that if you go right, they will go left. If you go left with them, they will take you right. They will not stop doing
In other
it.
words, they don't
No,
want
no,
peace.
no, no, absolutely, they will not. Even if, do you want more that we accepted to build our state in only 22% of our historical land? Palestine is our historical land. From the river, from the Mediterranean Sea to the river, it's our historical land. According to, this is the mandatory land that the Great British gave it to them. We accepted to build our state in only 22% of the historical land. Then everything, they will gonna measure it and tighten it to the security issue. Let me just give you some personal issue. I am a refugee in Gaza. My family right now in Gaza. I'm not pretty sure whether they are alive or not because I lost the connection with them since yesterday. The question is, 23 years since 2000. They did not allow me to visit my family in Gaza because of the security reasons.
23 years.
Yes. Do you want me to give you another example, personal example? The first ever time that I exercised what's the meaning of have travel document when I was 39 years old, 14 years ago. The first time ever in my life to travel, to try to exercise what's the meaning of flying, take off and landing. This is when I was 39 years old. I used to train myself to be ready. I'm old man enough not to be, excited too much, so that I need to train myself to know what's the meaning of to go outside West Bank. I spent part of my life in West Bank. They considering me according to their security measures as infiltrator. I'm from Gaza, live in West Bank as infiltrator. Could you imagine? This is the security measure. This is the. Do you want me to give another example? One of our kids, I think 9 years old. I did not remember her name. From Gaza, have a cancer. God forbid this to touch any one of you. They refuse her family to travel with her to East Jerusalem to have their medicine. She died alone. She died alone in East Jerusalem because they refused. This is the meaning of the security, the Israeli security measures. Every single issue in our life is related to security measures. This cannot be acceptable. I'm not a security threat. My kids is not a security threat. If you want to visit us, you personal, and they think that you are allying, or to some extent you might align yourself with the Palestinian people, they will not allow you to visit us. They will not issue to you any single visa, period. This is what's the meaning of the security threat. Wake up. This is another call to all of you here in Africa and everywhere all around the world. Give us the chance to tell our story. Wake up. There is a lot of narrative. There is a lot of propaganda. We are not a security threat. Our kid is not a security threat to them. It will not be a security.
So are you telling me that the Palestinian Authority cannot even issue visas?
No,
people coming into Palestine.
I gonna tell you more. No, we cannot issue. We could not control the border. We did not control the border. Could not trade freely with Nigeria unless we met their requirement. If this product I want to buy it from Nigeria, Simisis, for example, if it is not met their requirement, I will not be able to buy it, to import it. Period. If I want to buy a car, Nigeria is producing some cars. I think I stand to be corrected. I cannot, if this car did not meet their requirement and conditions, I cannot. We cannot, as a Palestinian. I cannot issue a visa to you. Period. I cannot. 60% of the Palestinian people, part of them is my family. Abu Shawish family cannot visit me in West Bank or in Gaza because they are not allowed to visit us. They did not issue to them a permission to come to visit us. Part of the Palestinian who is from West Bank, married from the Palestinian inside Israel, carrying the Israeli passport, cannot gather together.
So
cannot live together.
You're telling me that Palestinians in West Bank cannot travel freely
to
between Gaza.
Yes.
Palestinians can move freely.
Yes.
Except the Israelis give such permission.
Yes.
And you're telling me that even as an ambassador,
Yes.
that in the last 23 years,
23 since 2000.
you've not been able to move from West Bank to visit your family
In Gaza.
In Gaza.
You know how much the distance to drive, to take my car and to reach my home in Gaza, my family home in Gaza? 1 hour, 20 minutes. 23 years. I surprised you because no one will give us in this world the opportunity to tell those very human stories. No one will say that they did not accept the mother of the baby to go with her to take her chemical medicine, and she died alone in Jerusalem.
One of the issues that Israelis are raising in this current conflict is that Hamas operatives or Hamas fighters went to a musical concert.
It's not true at all. I know what you want to say. Okay, go ahead. But I'm gonna tell you it's not true.
That they moved, forced their way into this concert, killed children, killed women, slashed their heads. Slashed up of their head, took children prisoner, shot some, and they're saying that these are actions that are not acceptable anyway.
At all, and it's not only for Israel. For you, it should not be acceptable. For me, as a Palestinian, it should not be acceptable. And it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. All of this is a propaganda. Even the White House, Biden himself, President Biden himself, 3 days ago, 3 days I think ago, he repeated the same propaganda. Then 2 days ago, the White House retracted from this and say, no, he did not mean it. I'm not pretty sure about the wording itself, but he retracted from it. And he mentioned that the White House declared that President Biden was built his claim on evidence that he took it from the Israeli media. The only journalist that mentioned or distribute this story is Carla. I think I'm pretty sure I have her name there in my office. Then she mentioned that not far away from her, but the camera did not catch it. Far away from her, there is 14 babies. Babies was their head was cut. Then next day she tweeted that she did not saw the bodies, but she mentioned that according to one of the Israeli sources. Again,
there were video of children being kidnapped. There were video of women being kidnapped.
Trapped, not kidnapped. There's a big difference. Okay. Trapped or kidnapped. I'm not a military man to know that. But there is another video just 2 days ago, another video when there is a slot of time that they use our Hamas. Hamas have the opportunity to release a woman and her 2 children. They did that. Did you saw this video? Did you saw this video?
Hamas released some.
Yes, a woman. Yes, a woman and her 2 children. Yesterday, 2 days ago, just 2 days or 2 days. Okay. Did you saw this video? And you will not saw it. Except if I'm gonna share it with you. But in the media outlet, it will not distribute it at all. Again, who is kidnapping and presents, both in the present, the kids and the child? Israel. More than 300 Palestinian children right now in the Israeli prison. More than 300 children. Part of the other children is hostage in their house, and they cannot, according to the military order, they cannot leave their houses.
A lot of people who follow developments in the Middle East, especially as it affects the Palestinians and Israelis. Of course. A lot of people have issues with how the Israelis treat Palestinians and how some groups like Hamas treat Israelis. And my question to you, Mr. Ambassador, is when will this end?
No.
How will this end?
How
can we?
3 points. First, how Israeli Israel is occupying the remaining part of the, I mean, the 22% that we accept to build our state on it, which is West Bank, East Jerusalem, and Gaza. Fully, period. This is according to the international law. Hamas is a consequence, is a resistance movement consequence. Hamas is not all the Palestinian whom is resisting the Israeli occupation, whether by word, by diplomatic means, by political means, by legal means, consider they, according to the Israelis, President Abbas is a terrorist diplomat. Hamas is a terrorist. If you are a Nigerian and criticize the Israeli occupation, you will be labeled as anti-Semite. If you are a Jew, and there is a lot of Jewish people whom is aligning themselves with us, you are a hate self-Jew. Period. There is a lot of it is there, the classification, how to classify the people, how to corner them in this under this topic, under this topic. It's there in the Israeli literature and beliefs. The way out, one word, loud and clear, international law. Is it fair to talk about the international law? Just the applicability of the international law. Is it fair, all of us, to raise our voice loud and clear? Let us apply, let us accept the international law to be applied in all the states in equal foot. Is it acceptable? Is it fair to say that the international law which is applied on Nigeria should be applied also in Israel? This is the point. The way out is to stop treating Israel as the grumpy, spoily teenager, is to stop giving Israel unlimited, unconditional support, whether it is military or political or media support all around the world. Unconditional, unlimited support to Israel from the Western country. It's time. And the way out is to put an end to this occupation, to treat Israel as a regular state, likewise every other state in the world. It's time to put an end to this occupation, and there is a lot of tools that we as an international community, you as an international community have it. It's very polite, it's very legal, it's very diplomatic, it's very, non-violence tools, all of these, which can be applied, which can be activated to put an end to the Israeli occupation. Could you imagine that one of those countries stand firm against the settlement, then all of its market shelf fell full of the product that came from the Israeli settlement?
But
no.
Would you blame the West, where, for instance, when Hamas attacked on Saturday, about 19 Americans were killed?
Again,
or either kidnapped.
Thank you so much. 7 million Jews living in America. The majority of them have the Israeli citizenship. A huge part of them came to serve in the Israeli occupation army. We used to meet them in the checkpoints. We, the Palestinians, know them that this is an American citizen.
Welcome to Global News on Signature TV. I am Barry Kumo Ado. In the headlines, Court declares Labour Party 2024 National Convention organized by Bure as valid. Reps visit ENUGU State and pledge to address its ecological challenges. Trump blames U.S. leadership for October 7 attacks during Remembrance event in Florida. And Russian court sentences U.S. citizen Gilmer to over 7 years in prison on assault charges. Details shortly. Saturday's local government poll bent down sumpters to de-escalate without interference, called on President Bola Tinubu to intervene by advising the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, to refrain from actions that might destabilize the state.